So we've got our little rocket, can fly around, and in this level, we try to fly, but there's a door, and I want to get to that green switch on the other side of the door. So there's a blue switch up here. I'm going to navigate to carefully. I land on this button, and it goes down, sort of like human fall flat, with a little bit of glowing hue to it, or emission. Oh, I ran out of fuel right by the landing pad. Welcome to a recap of today's live code hangout. We've been working on the Our Light Studio game, Nexus. I've got a pull request here where we implement a trigger button animation and collision mesh updates. What it means is that we have a rocket that's going to fly and land on a button, and when that rocket lands, the button will go down like it's being pressed and light up a little bit. So let's take a quick look at how that plays in the game. So we've got our little rocket, can fly around, and in this level, we try to fly, but there's a door, and I want to get to that green switch on the other side of the door. So there's a blue switch up here. I'm going to navigate to carefully. I land on this button, and it goes down, sort of like human fall flat, with a little bit of glowing hue to it, or emission. Oh, I ran out of fuel right by the landing pad, unfortunately. So we fly up, I land, I press the button, and I gotta be conservative with my fuel. There we go. That's it in a nutshell. Let's review the code a little bit to see how this works. So we have this trigger pad scene, and the scene tree, it's implemented using an area 3D, which takes a collision shape that defines where the boundary is. For example, a player can enter into this shape, and we have this mesh here for the button, representing the button as a material. It's this blue glowing material, slightly metallic, but the emission is what gives it this glowing blue. And we started with a low, kind of lowish energy multiplier, 0.5. We have an animation player, which we'll review in just a moment. But inside of here, we need the player to be able to interact in the physics engine. So we create a static body 3D also with a collision shape. So this collision here is used for the player rocket to rest on the button, and this collision here is so we know when the player's entered the button. So we'll take a look at the animation player. We have two animations here. The reset, which just puts everything back to the default state. And our button mesh, we're animating three properties. The energy multiplier, so it gets brighter. The size, so it'll shrink down. It'll kind of get more narrow. But then to make it appear that it's staying on the same location on the floor, essentially, we want to also animate the position so it shrinks. But this is the reset animation, so it just puts all the values back into the defaults. And for our collision shape, we have basically the same thing. We animate the size and position to match what the button looks like, the appearance of the button. It just looks like that. It drops down a little bit, it shrinks down, and the glow enhances. So let's play it one more time now that we've seen that. We can fly up, land, button goes down, the rocket stays more or less on the button surface. So that's it for the things we did in the Godot editor. We can take a quick look at the script for this trigger pad. We can see it extends in area 3D. We call it a trigger pad, and we want to have a signal that can emit when it's activated in case something else wants to listen for it. When it's ready, we get a quick reference to this animation player so that we can do stuff with it in a moment. And we have this variable here that allows you to specify a node path to a door that will open, and the door is defined separately. We didn't work with that today, but if you'd like to see that code, you can check out our repository. We have some variables here to get a reference to the node itself in a moment and track whether it's activated and defaulting to false. When ready, we're just going to make sure that that string's not empty and try to get a reference to that controlled door here. Then we have this function to activate the pad. If it's already activated, we don't need to do anything. But if not, we're going to set it to activated. We're going to play the button press animation, which was this button press. And then the controlled door, if it has a method open, we'll call that open method. We'll emit this activated signal in case something is listening for that. Here's what makes it interactive. The player enters the collision shape that's a child of the trigger pad. We check if it's in the player group, and then we activate the pad essentially. So that was all that was necessary. So the only other detail that was key to tying everything together is we need this signal. How does this get called? On body entered. If we go to the node signals, we have this body entered signal that's part of the area 3D, which uses this collision shape to check for body entering. And it's just wired up here to the on-body entered function. We can see there the whole flow. Okay, well, this has been another live code session. If you'd like to check out our source code, we're open source on GitHub at github.com/OutwardLightStudio/Nexus. And this is pull request number 47. Hope you're doing well and have a great day.